Great to have you with us here on Europe Today. Good morning.
Good morning.
So first, we heard there from Sasha Vakilini about those talks between Marco Rutte and the Commission President. But did you get filled in as well by Commission President on those talks last night with President Zelensky? How did they go?
First of all, it's clear from the European Union side, we stay committed to provide all necessary support to Ukraine and eventually to ensure just and lasting peace in Ukraine. So that remains our goal, and we continue, I would say, strong engagement with different partners to arrive at this goal.
But your goal is not being heard by President Trump. He's not taking into account how Brussels feels.
Obviously, what is important if we want also European Union, so to say, to be at the table, to be fully taken into account, is also to project strengths to be able to change facts on the ground. That's why it's important we reach agreement on Ukraine financing. That's why it's important we continue to provide necessary military support to Ukraine. But because this is a way how we actually stay relevant and can change facts on the ground, and correspondingly also can influence any negotiations.
And how can you make sure Ukraine doesn't have to swallow a bad deal?
The stronger Ukraine will be, the more leverage it will have to ensure the acceptable terms of peace. In any case, what we want to achieve is not a capitulation of Ukraine. It's a just and lasting peace for Ukraine. Also, the peace which just does not serve as a pause for Russia to regroup, to recover, and to continue its aggression against Ukraine or to expand its war against other countries, because Russia is openly talking about invading other countries, including EU and NATO countries.
And you mentioned, of course, the frozen Russian assets. Where do things stand there? The clock is ticking.
Last week, the European Commission came forward with proposals on how we can provide financing for Ukraine for the next 2 years. Either through joint borrowing at the EU level or through so-called reparation loan, where we use cash balances linked with immobilized Russian assets and provide a reparation loan to Ukraine, which Ukraine only would need to repay once Russia pays reparations for the damages it has created. So European Commission proposals are on table, and leaders are expected to discuss them next week.
But some leaders don't like them. I mean, there was the dinner last Friday between President von der Leyen and Friedrich Merz. Even hopped on a plane from Germany to come here to try and convince the Belgians, but it didn't work.
Indeed, Belgians have legitimate concerns because bulk of this money is indeed in Belgium, and therefore in our proposal we also came with a strong safeguards. Other EU member states will have to provide guarantees. Also, Russia's claims cannot be enforced in the European Union, and we also came with additional safeguards how to prevent enforcement of those claims in a third country, or how they can be offset against Russia's assets in the EU.
And you had a call with the G7 last night. Do the US and Japan actually support this reparations loan?
Indeed, I presented the reparations loan concept to G7 partners yesterday, our proposal, and it was also agreed yesterday on a principle that Russia's assets should stay immobilized until Russia pays reparations. It's also reflected in yesterday's G7 meeting conclusions.
So what happens if there's no deal? How will Ukraine survive without this money?
We have to reach the deal, and the good news is that all leaders conceptually agree that we have to find a solution, and next week is a crunch time when we have to do it.
And of course, did you read the document, the national security document that Trump penned last Friday, calling Europe weak? What are your thoughts on that document?
Certainly there are aspects on this national security strategy we disagree with. That's very clear, and it's clear that European Union is actually providing strength for members of the European Union, especially smaller countries, because in a current more conflictual, power-based world, it's certainly you can seek strengths in unity. But there are aspects which are obviously we can agree that we could project more assertiveness as European Union, including against Russia. And also, for example, the strategy recognizes that Europe remains strategically and culturally vital for the United States.
Okay, Commissioner Dombrovskis, thank you so much for coming to us today on Europe Today.